Hey, welcome back to another episode of Looking on the Blind Side. I am Steve Dalton.
And I'm Keith Lewis Spencer.
And today we have a wonderful guest with us, and we all love him so much. And he is currently the winner of last Thursday's Rumble Mouth night at the comedy club. He took first in the one-liners and crowd work, the big winner. Unfortunately, he beat Keith, which... Sorry, Keith.
I don't think we had to mention that
part. We just had to kind of bring it up. Yeah. But welcome, Walter Battle. Walter Big Sexy Battle. Welcome and thanks for doing the show.
Oh, no problem.
This is the show I've been dreaming about doing because I'm the tiny one of the group. Never ever have I ever got to say that I'm the tiny one of any group. But yeah, it's been great. So let me, I'll go ahead and start off with a question for Walter. My number one question is, like, how did you get into doing comedy? Oh, yeah, he's a local comic, by the way. Sorry, he's a local comic. And how did you get into doing comedy? And I know a little bit about your TikTok.
I got into comedy for different reasons. One of them was I was really big into basketball, but as we all know, you get too old to be able to do that, right? So I had to find a new avenue to some other activity to get my mind rolling, because I'm one of them guys, I can't stop thinking about certain things. And what helped me was basketball. And then, and I figured, hey, let me try comedy. I had a mentor back in Chicago, because that's where I'm originally from, who was also a comedian. And I didn't find out that he was a well-known comedian until I was about 32. And I've sat down and asked questions about how he did comedy, what came with it, what got him started, and it was interesting. So I'm like, I'm going to try it one day, but that one day was 10 years later.
Wow.
So I started comedy, last year, and I fell in love with it ever since.
Yeah. I know you also told me about a TikTok thing that kind of happened to you.
The TikTok started because of my daughters. I used to get on TikTok and I used to just browse through TikTok and just laugh. So one day my oldest daughter, she said, "Dad, why don't you do a TikTok with me?" I said, "All right, sure." Did the TikTok. TikTok, got a lot of views and she enjoyed it. And I saw it, I'm like, maybe it's something I can continue to do. So I made my own profile, did my own video. And I think the very first video I did was me being silly. I think it was like an assassin, an unlicensed assassin. So I was trying to kill somebody and I killed myself. You know what I mean? So that's how that started. And I just kept going with it. And I've been doing pretty good on TikTok, and then I was like, let me step on stage and give it a try. And that's how this started.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, being 1 year in, being as good as you are already is insane.
Yeah. I appreciate it,
man. It is insane.
I appreciate that a lot, man.
Yeah, you are freaking amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I mean, that Rumble Mouth that I may or may not have competed in was...
I love you, man.
well, also in the Rumble Mouth, though, the host said when Walter came up, he goes, "You guys better vote for Walter, or he's going to kick everybody's ass."
That's what I want.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, that was incredible, man. That whole Rumble Mouth was insane, man. Yeah, you killed it. That was dope. That was really amazing. For
the
real.
whole show was fun, man.
Yeah, that was fun. So, first question I want to ask you is, you obviously talked about that comic that you knew, your friend.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering, what were your early comic influences? Did you ever watch any comedians that you coming up, or did you think of anyone when you were doing it?
Yeah, I do. It's gonna be crazy because with me being black, it's not gonna be the comedians everybody else think. It's not gonna be Richard Pryor or Red Fox and nothing like that. It was more members. Remember the movies like Ernie, Ernie go to jail.
Yeah,
Ernest.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys I
Jim
thought
Varn
was
wasn't it
hilarious.
Jim Varn,
Yeah,
Varney or
Varn.
Yeah.
And he was funny. And then what's the other movie that came out, man, with Weekends at Bernie?
yeah.
Oh yeah, Weekends at Bernie.
You know, it was stuff like that I thought was funny.
Nice.
And then the older I got, I started realizing that, you know, like Martin became one of my favorite comedians, and I had the opportunity to meet him.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh wow, you met Martin?
Yeah, I had because of I call him my father.
Yeah.
But it was because of him.
Yeah.
that I had the opportunity because his sister worked for Martin, and then he was also in the comedy world. So I had the opportunity to get ahead of that line to meet him
That's
in person.
amazing. Oh yeah, man, that's awesome.
So it was like stuff like that, Harlem Nights, you know, the classic movies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So comedy really came for me from movies, not really the comedian.
Yeah, not stand up. That's amazing. And it's also different.
Yeah. So that's why I do like TikToks and stuff,
Yeah.
because I like to act them out. Because once I act them out, I don't know what happened. I just turn into a whole nother person.
Yeah. Like that was actually. I'm gonna like hop Steve for a second because I actually have another question. Because like,
Go ahead.
it took me probably like 2 years to even attempt act outs on stage or in my act.
Okay.
I have like a few now, but like it took me forever. Like, I mean, you basically answered this question really because I was gonna ask you that you know you do great act outs.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, they're great. And so then I was gonna ask you, like, why is that? like, why do you do such great act? Why? Why?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I be wanting to escape the world sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want nobody to look at me like, "Oh, he's 6'7", 6'8". He too serious." I'm goofy for real.
That's why one of the reasons why we all love you too.
Yeah, man.
I was low key. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, you shouldn't do this and shoot that." And in my head, I'm like, "You can kiss my ass."
Yeah.
I'm doing that. You know? And especially if I feel like it's going to make a person laugh and be comfortable around me.
Yeah.
I don't mind making myself look silly
Nice.
to let somebody else know it's okay to laugh.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, you know, I think one of the first acts I've ever did without being on stage or doing TikTok, I have an auntie back at home, and I literally put on like all of her wigs one time, and I walked in and I act like I have multiple personalities.
You were Medea before Medea.
Thinking of Medea, I'm like, girl, what the hell? I used to I took one wig off and I'd be one, then I take another one. All the wigs are home.
That's amazing.
I take one off and just act, and then she was dying laughing.
That's amazing.
And right then and there, I was like, yeah, from now on, when I act out stuff, that's just what I'm going to do.
That's amazing.
So that's how that started. And yeah, I love it.
That actually leads into a question that I had on my list of questions that I wanted to ask is because, like, I think it's a new joke for you that I heard you do a couple weeks ago where you talked about chasing white women.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, you said, they go out jogging at 2 a.m. and they think they're safe. He goes, I'm a hero. I go. He goes, I hide behind a bush and I jump out and go, boo, run, bitch. Run, bitch. And he goes, I start chasing after them and stuff and tell them. And then when they get all the way back to their house, I tell them, it's like, you're lucky it was me, not a crazy person. But my question I had on my list that I was going to ask is, have you ever had anybody come up to you after a show and ask if any of the stuff that you talk about, if you've really done it?
I get people to ask that all the time, right? And so a lot of my jokes are true, but I want to say some of them are fiction, but they're thoughts that I've had that I actually thought about doing in real life. You know what I mean? I actually did think about jumping out of a bush at 3 in the morning and say, run, bitch. You know, I thought about it.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you don't, because I don't think you would go.
That's like, well, Walter went to jail.
But I always wondered that if anybody comes up to you after some of your sets and it's like going,
all the time.
Yeah, because I get people come up to me and ask me about some of my stuff too. They're always like going, is that true? Is that true?
Yeah.
And it's like, Well, I always tell them like 80% of it's usually true because you got to punch it up a little bit to make it funny.
Yep, and that's
But-
what I say, about at least 80%. But
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that I say are thoughts that I've had, and I wonder what if, like my jokes be what if it's not true. What if that had happened? It's almost like my imagination take off running. I feel like
Yeah.
a kid again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get to say what I want to say. I get to act out what I want to act out without people thinking I'm losing my mind. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah. No, because my favorite part of the joke that when you talk about chasing her and stuff, and then she falls, and you're like, I stop and I pick her up and go
Like you do a head start.
it's like get up, run, get up.
It's practice. It's practice.
Yeah, practice it. So I love that. I don't know if that's new, but if it
It
is,
is
I
a
like.
new one. I did it.
I loved
I
it,
wrote
too.
it last week, and obviously I'm still working on it.
Yeah,
But I wanted to try it out that day because I wanted to see, how we are as comics, to see if it hit or not, so I can work on it more. You know what I mean?
yeah. I saw Walter at a show once, and he came out to the music. You think my tractor's sexy?
Kenny Chesney.
Yeah, I think my tractor's sexy or whatever. And he comes up on the stage and he's like, "Oh, and I bet you all didn't think this is what you were getting when you heard that song."
Y'all got the wrong Walter.
Yeah, you got the wrong Walter. You heard Walter coming up and the tractor's sexy, and it's like,
That's
I think Keith was hosting that show too,
Keith
and it
was
was like,
hosting. He did a great job too.
Yeah, because I think Keith introduced you, said, "You think I'm a big black guy?"
Wait till you see this other guy.
This other guy.
I was just laughing like this dude, man.
But what I loved is Janelle was on the show, and then the main guy was, oh my god, I can't remember his name, but he was African American also, and he said it was in February, and he goes, all you white people out here, he goes, it's Black History Month, you can check your box. He said, you guys came and saw 4 black comedians, you're all good for the month.
Yeah, you can check your box.
You can check your quota
give it
box.
back.
You hit your quota.
Yeah.
Quota.
And that was a fun night as well, man.
Oh
I
yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah, you killed it too.
And it's crazy because when I was on the show and Keith came to the back in the green room, he was like, "You ready?" I said, "Do I got a choice?" And he shook his head no and walked out the door. I was like, "Oh damn!" but it was a good time, man. It was a great time.
Oh yeah, man,
I
that was fun,
enjoyed
man.
it. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so my facial expression changed, and Ash saw it, and then she was like, "What happened?" Yo, they were up 4-0 at one point.
Huh.
They lost 5-4.
What?
No,
There was
way.
like 1 inning left, man.
And they was winning by what, 4-0?
Yeah, they lost. Yeah.
If anybody's wondering, our boy Kendrick, who you saw in our second episode, is in the championship of a baseball tournament,
Yeah.
and they were winning 4-0 and just lost 5-4. Oh no!
Man,
That's crazy.
that's crazy.
That's hurtful.
Man, I'm glad I missed it. Yo,
But he's probably going to blame you. He's going to say, if you were here, we would have won. I know Kendrick. He's going to say it's your fault because you left.
yeah, man. I gotta think of the upside. That's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that live for nothing, man. What happened?
Ooh, I wonder who crying right now.
Right? Oh man, like everybody.
Yeah.
Well, not Kendrick. He's built different, but. So I guess my next question is this is like this, man. Outside of sports and comedy, what do you like doing in your free time?
Believe it or not, I like singing, man.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I like singing. I sing a lot, but not in front of a lot of people, simply because you already know the stigma of big black dudes singing. Like, like nah, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that's just something I like. It mellows me out.
yeah.
And some music kind of like remind me of my past. Some
Nice.
music remind me of good times are coming. Some music remind me of family.
Oh.
So sometimes I may not want to cut on the radio. I just want to sing it myself. So,
Nice.
So yeah, that's another thing I like to do too.
That's awesome. Oh yeah.
People get you up saying, "No, you think you Luther Vandross?"
No, if anything, they normally tell me, and it's weird because when I do sing, it's a lot of people say, "Oh, you got a nice voice," or "You sound like Jaheim." I'm like, "That's you pushing it." I can hold a note now. I don't know about that. And that's about it. But don't say Jaheim. You making me look bad.
Yeah,
You gonna give us something, or
man.
or since you brought it up,
I did bring it up. That wouldn't mean I'm going to sing.
I did. That's all right, man. We won't put you on the spot. We won't put you on the spot.
I mean, I wouldn't mind, but it won't be nothing long, you know. So.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. My people might learn something about you.
It might. They might.
Go,
I mean,
go ahead, hit us with just a line. One of your favorites.
One of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
There we go. All right, man. Yeah. All right. Our first singer on the song.
I
That was great.
That was good, though.
Holy crap.
That's good.
That was really
I'm
good.
sure there's going to be a lot of people going, "Whoa, Walter can sing."
Oh my God!
When they watch it,
I would
we're
say that's not true.
we're gonna
That's
put it-
auto tune.
We'll put it on. We'll put it on a loop. We'll put it on. Well, we're gonna send it. We're gonna send it to the comedy club. It'll be your walk-up music now.
Yeah, you look like you're choreographed.
Like what's he paying that?
We're gonna have Sierra. We're gonna have Sierra edit it and give it to Dustin to play on your next walk-up.
That is insane, man. Yo, that's dope. Nah, I can't sing at all. Yeah, it's like I was like in the church choir as a kid, and then 13 is when I started smoking.
That's what happened. Your voice went away.
Yeah, my voice died. Them Newports, it's over. Yeah, that's insane.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. I have a standard question that I'm trying to ask, especially anybody, or performer guests, like people who perform. I have a It's like I'm calling it the show's like main question that I love asking everybody. Has there ever been a time? I know you haven't been doing the stand up super long, but has there been a time in the last year or so that where you thought about quitting, where it got where you were like going, I'm going to quit, and then what brought you out of that not quitting?
Right at the beginning when I started coming to open mic, and I didn't want to quit because I didn't like it. I wanted to quit because I felt like maybe this just ain't for me, not because of not telling the jokes or nothing. I didn't see me doing this. I didn't, and sometimes I'm still kind of like, what the hell am I doing? Because I'm so used to playing sports and taking care of my family and the kids. That's all I really know.
Yeah.
But one day I was at the comedy club, and Max was there, and I was just coming to watch because I still enjoy comedy.
Yeah.
And Max was like, "You getting on stage?" I'm like, "No, I'm done." He was like, "Oh, really? You just started?" And I said, I just don't think it's for me. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it is. I got a buddy back in Chicago named Larry. He saw one of my posts I put up, and he called me immediately and told me, he said, "I need you to wake the fuck up, and you better not stop, because I can tell in your voice that you don't feel like you're not supposed to be here." And he knows that because he played basketball with me. And we grew up together. We like brothers. And I'm like, you know what, bro? You're right.
That's amazing.
I've quit so much shit in my life, and I never know where I could have been. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it this time.
That's amazing.
So.
And I like asking that question to everybody too, because I'm sure hopefully people watching, there's people out there who, it doesn't have to be stand up, could be anything where you're thinking, it's not going your way, things aren't, or you might not think you're good, but you don't quit,
Right.
You don't want to quit. You'll get better.
Yeah, never stop. Never stop.
I appreciate it, man.
No, yeah.
It was tough.
But we're glad you didn't quit.
Yeah, I'm 100% glad that.
Thank you, man.
What timing by your dude Larry, yo?
Huh?
I said, what timing by that?
Yeah, good timing by Larry.
Yeah, that's
I was-
amazing.
I was really right there. Like,
Yeah, that's insane. That's incredible.
Shout out to Larry.
Yeah, Larry from Chicago. That's amazing.
Awesome.
And speaking of that, if I can just add,
Of course.
if you ever in Chicago, he has a show called Low Key Lit Thursdays.
All right.
Good show, great show.
Okay.
So if you ever get there, go to it's at Second City in Chicago.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it's a great show. So if you ever out there, just hit him up.
Yeah.
Drop your name.
Yeah.
Just hit him up. Yeah.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll do that for sure. All right. My next question. What is the worst thing you've experienced so far in stand-up comedy?
The worst thing?
The worst thing.
I would say the worst thing I experienced was telling the joke in front of. I told I don't even know if I want to say it on the podcast.
It's all right. We're all friends here.
So I said a gay joke in front of a bunch of gay people at a comedy club, not at the comedy club, at a comedy club. I'm not gonna say the comedy club. And it was a competition, and the judges were all in the LGBTQ.
Oh man.
That's it, right?
LGBT.
And that's what happened. You see what I just said?
Yeah.
They pressed their button so fast, and I'm like, damn! I was doing so good for 3 minutes. I had 2 minutes left,
Oh man.
and all because I missed a letter.
Oh
Pressed
man.
that button. They ain't missed no letter in that buzzer. No bullshit. They got rid of me, but I would say that was the most embarrassing. Not because I said the joke, but because I messed the joke up in front of people who take that serious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
and before I got off the stage, I'm like, I'm sorry, and I walked off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the worst
sorry. Those are the words. Like I said when my man, I didn't even want to like bring up my own thing, but like my worst bomb was in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
And I was about maybe 25 seconds, and this is when I was starting.
Okay.
Ringing, I maybe I'd say 35, 40 seconds in.
Okay.
I apologize because I said 3 jokes and got silence.
Really?
Yeah, I mean just like silence, and I mean like it might have been a minute 30 maybe. I don't even know how long. I haven't rewatched it. Like yo, it was nothing but silence, and then like it was the most like crushing thing because like
And that's the part that killed me, the silent part.
yeah, it was just
Because
silent.
when it gets silent, you already know you fucked up.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
and how you rebound from that, you know?
Yeah, man. I had to do I was only doing 5 minutes, but like it was already a minute in or something, and the set was already over, but
Yep.
I couldn't get off stage. man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I got
said
lucky
sorry.
because I had the 3 buzzers, so the 3 buzzers, you get it automatically.
Nice. yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Ooh, like the Gong Show.
Yep, like the
You
Gong
got
Show.
Gong.
It was basically a theme of the Gong Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think-
think Philip won that night.
Oh,
Yeah, Philip won that night.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's
What-
amazing.
There's a part of the show. I don't know if this is about where we do it, but we can take. If you want to wait a minute, think about it. But I always ask people because we're asking you questions, but if anything's thought of, or if you thought like asking me and Keith a question, or if there's any questions you'd like to ask us, because things that maybe you don't know about us or something that
Absolutely. I mean, I
So-
always have questions, man. And
Yeah.
Keith will tell you, even when we seriously, I'm always asking questions about because I'm one of those guys. I would like to know, so that way I can see if I have similar relations with whatever that you've been through or
Yeah.
you've been through. So I'm always asking questions. So my question would be to you: is when you started doing comedy, what made you feel like, hey, this is something that I can do, and this is something that I want to keep doing? And what I mean by that is, was it like you sat down one day and you was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it, or you thought about it for years. How did that work for you?
You since you forget you're on the show with the blind guy, you said for me. Is it for me?
It is for you.
For you.
We do this every time. We do this every time. I swear to God, you look like he's looking at me.
Yeah. I was like,
So you looking at me as I'm talking. I keep forgetting.
I know that too. I didn't even stop you. I was like, hey, Steve,
You should have been like this. You should have been like this.
But it's so funny because I joked about this in like our first episode, I think, when me and Keith were just doing it, and I always say, I go, people, like, I hear your voice,
right?
You know,
Yeah, so
I'm looking. It's only I always, because I'll talk to people and they're always like, well, you're looking right at me, and they're like, I'm like, well, I hear your voice. I'm looking where the voice is.
Right, where the voice is coming from.
I said, shit, while you're talking, should I be over here looking like that? I'm like, you know, it's like, it's just.
Let me just say, you make it look normal.
Me and Stevie Wonder.
And then what's crazy is the shirt said, I know I don't look blind.
I'm using this for I wore this today for the open mic later we're going to. I'm going to do a joke about it. But for asking, it's like my whole life I wanted to do comedy. I've loved comedy. I've always had friends and coworkers were like, you should do comedy. You need to do an open mic. You need to do it. So when I turned 50, I was like, I'm going to do it. It's like, I've lived half my life. If I live to 100, it's like, what am I going to do with the other half? Kind of like what you said, I can't go play sports anymore. I can't, I got to, I want to find a hobby.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to try it. And so the first night I went to the comedy club. I actually haven't done this in a while. My first joke I did is Ace was actually the host.
wow.
And shout out to Ace. Hope he's doing good.
Yep.
And I told him, I said, when I go up, I said, hand me the mic. I said, I'm going to face the audience backwards, with my back to the audience. So I went up there and I was like, so I had my back to the audience and I go, hey, thanks. I said, man, this is like the best looking audience I've ever seen or whatever. And everybody starts laughing or whatever. And some lady in the front was like she goes, oh my God, turn around. And I turned around and I was like, oh, wait, I changed my mind. But I was like, oh, it's like, so that was like, and everybody just busted out laughing. And you guys know, I'm sure, man, once you get that crowd where everybody in the crowd just busts out laughing, it's better than any drug.
Yeah,
I'm like,
laugh is crazy.
Yeah, people who do heroin, cocaine, all that stuff, it's like, not like I've ever done any of those, but I'm just saying it's like, it's feeling's way better. It's such a rush and just makes you just feel good all over.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Yeah, see, I did cocaine, meth. That's a lie. I ain't never done a drug in my life. I've never done a drug in my life.
In case my mom's watching, no, I've never done any drugs.
Shoot.
Yeah, so So I've been hooked ever since I got that first crowd laugh. It's like, oh man, I want that again.
Hell yeah.
That's my drug of choice.
I agree with you because that first crowd laugh, they say when you get it, you're chasing it again.
Mm-hmm.
And
you do.
It's nothing like that first crowd laugh.
Yeah.
That first time.
Yeah.
But I got another question for you. Why wait until you were 50 though?
I think I just didn't think that I could do it. I was just kind of doubting myself, going, can I do it? Can I do it? I was scared of failing and everybody kind of going, it's like, oh yeah, he thought he was going to, I just kind of, because, when you're younger, and for all you younger listeners, it's like, man, you worry more about what people think. Mm-hmm. And man, when I always tell people, man, when you turn 50, I don't know how old you guys are, but man, your give a damn really, as you get older, your give a damn starts to it starts breaking. But man, when you turn 50, for some reason, I've talked to other people who've turned 50, it's the same way. It's like it breaks. It's like, I just don't I don't care. If you think I suck, then that's your problem.
Right.
And it's like, but when you're younger, you don't think like that. You worry too much about what other people think and and I think I just got to that point where it's like, I'm going to give it a shot. If I suck, I suck. If I'm, and luckily people keep coming up and telling me that I'm funny and that they like my stuff.
Yeah, man, you got some good stuff.
Good. Well, I got the hook with the blind jokes and,
and it works though.
Yeah, it does.
I'm like, gonna sound crazy. I'm like, I wish I had a disability.
Well, serious. That's what I tell, and I tell people that too. I'm always like, if I gotta have it, man, might as well use it to my advantage, And it's, and I've had people come up to me, like, I don't know, about a month ago after one of the open mics, this young lady came up to me and she was like, oh my God. She was like, you are my favorite. She goes, oh my God, you were so funny. She goes, I just love that you make fun of your disability, that you don't let people, you don't feel down about it, that you actually make jokes about it. And that and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm like, you gotta, laugh about things, it's like, if I had cancer, I'd probably make jokes about cancer.
Yeah, 100%.
You gotta make it better.
Yeah. That's my go-to with any kind of like stress or trauma or anything I'm dealing with. Yeah, I always joke about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
always. Yep.
I have to.
Because like I said in that first episode too, and I always tell people, it's like, no matter how bad things are going for you, there's always somebody worse.
Yeah.
Always somebody worse.
Yeah.
Like today, somebody found out they have cancer and they only have a couple of months to live, or whatever. And I'm like, man, they would trade places with me in a second.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
so true.
And so you got to hold on to that.
Yep. Definitely.
You got a question for Keith?
I do.
All right.
I got actually two questions for you.
Nice.
One of them is, I know you by way out of New York.
Yep.
And how was it like did you start comedy in New York?
I did not.
You didn't?
No, I started out here. I performed in New York, but no, I
don't know why. I just knew you started out there, then came.
Yeah, I wish that was the case. It was one of my life's regrets.
Understood.
Yeah.
And that was. I was about to say, the reason when you said that's one of my life regrets, I was going to say, well, shit, at least you got away from the rats, so you ain't got to worry.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, when you got here to Kansas City,
yep,
what made you want to do comedy here instead of in New York?
The thought to do comedy never occurred to me in New York. I liked comedy, but it wasn't something that was a realistic even attempt. I thought that was something that people in like Hollywood do or something like that, or like that was like, you have to like go to like some school or something.
That's crazy because to me, from where I'm from, Chicago, and where I've been, New York is the place to go to do comedy.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's insane, yep. But it was never, that was never in my like circles. Like I never had I didn't have anyone that like even tried to do it or even tried to look to do it, nothing like that. It was just not in my awareness.
Gotcha.
So it just never occurred to me. It never was something I even thought that could be done. I never even thought to try to do it. I didn't even look into it, nothing. That was never a possibility in my mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never thought it was even a realistic thing for someone like me or most people to do. It was something that like special people that were able to just like get in there somehow. It was like some secret, and I didn't know the secret, and I never even thought to even look. It wasn't even something for me. That's like, it was all about making money.
Right.
So then I was like, and then that's one thing that I knew. There was no money in comedy.
Gotcha.
And then the people that do it, they were actors or something. They was
like Adam Sandler.
Right. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I was like, those people, that's not real. That's not something that I could ever do. So I didn't even think.
I already know. I know exactly what you mean with that. That's why I was like, man, this is not for me. They were like, what am I doing? Like, I'm wasting my time, their time, everybody's time.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I never asked you that, but I've always wondered.
Yep.
Cool. Well, now back to you, because I was thinking about it today that I wanted to talk about your need for speed. Not a lot of people know this about you. Not a lot of people know that you have a need for speed. You're the Top Gun of motorcycles, and it's like I don't know if you're that way in the car too, but I know I wanted to talk about your motorcycle experiences. And for those who don't know, Walter loves to go really fast on his motorcycle.
Oh yeah, we can even put more details. That this man has a Hayabusa.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
the fastest street legal motorcycle on the planet.
And so, first part of it is, what's the fastest you've ever gone on it?
Okay. I went 210.
You went 210 miles an hour on it
210 miles.
on the highway.
On a straightaway highway on 635.
Holy
And
crap!
I went from Metcalf all the way up to, I want to say that's Metropolitan.
Wow.
Took me 30 seconds.
Now the second part of the thing. What is the biggest scare that you've had going super fast on the motorcycle on the highway,
Somebody cut me
you were like, oh shit, I'm gonna die?
Somebody cut me off. I was on the bridge, and I was probably going like, on a boost, it's easy to go 100 miles an hour. Like,
Yeah.
that's nothing. to me. Anybody who ride boosters
Yeah.
or any motorcycle,
Yeah.
100 miles is nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So I was going about 120. I'm cruising, listening to my music, and a little young kid cut me off.
Wow.
And my bike went down, I went down, but I had on the proper gear.
Yeah.
While I slid. The only thing that scared me was we was on the bridge.
Oh.
So if I hit the bridge, I'm flipping over. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So my bike flips several times. As a matter of fact, that bike don't even exist no more.
Wow.
And the gear I had on, all the leather on my gear came off.
Wow.
And my helmet, thank God my helmet didn't come off my head, but
Yeah.
it definitely cracked on the back. And I didn't have no broken bones, no scratches or nothing.
Wow.
And
So you walked away?
I walked away.
Wow.
I walked away. And that was like the scariest moment. That was 4 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
And I got right back on the bike the next day because I had another one.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, I love that. Yo, you take that spill and then the next
Yeah.
day you right back on it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because
But crazy.
in my mind, it ain't my fault.
Yeah, when you're
You know what I mean?
Right, hell
I did
yeah.
it right. You
Hell
know?
yeah.
But yeah,
No.
but nah, that was the scariest moment of my life right there on a motorcycle.
do you do that if you have one of your daughters on the
Oh
motorcycle?
hell no!
Do you ever let them on it?
I don't even put them on the bike.
Yeah.
They say, Dad, can we go around the corner? That's it. I got a little quarter sack, and I don't even press the gas. I let it roll on its own
Nice.
and stop. Okay.
Nice. Oh yeah.
How old are your daughters?
I have 3 daughters, 1 son. My oldest daughter is 19. My second daughter, she's 9. My third daughter, 7, and my son, 5. I'm a stair stepper.
Ha, ha.
Stairs.
Nice.
But they don't get on the motorcycles.
No, not with me.
Yeah.
I know I'm dangerous,
Do-
so I don't do it.
Do you go that fast in cars too? Do you like driving fast in the cars?
Not really, because in a car and then on a motorcycle is too complete. To me, it's different. It's a different feeling. I don't even get the same adrenaline in a car, so I don't even do it.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing. Huh. Then
What's other than have you ever like jumped the bike or anything like that?
oh, that thing is a Hayabusa. That is you don't jump a Hayabusa. No. No, that thing is like it's like a Lamborghini.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying not necessarily that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, any.
Have I ever done it?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm not a stunt rider. I don't do none of those. I'm not burning rubber, popping wheelies, none of that.
You just the speed, the need for
That's the
speed.
only part. That's it.
Yeah. So I nailed it. You have
Yep.
that need for speed.
I got a need for speed.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, the other questions, they were like joke questions. So you told me how old your kids are. So I was wondering, like, at what age do they stop being assholes?
Are you preparing for Kendrick?
Yo, mine are young, man. It's just like, yo, today I came back to the game because there was a long gap between the games, and I was sitting in the chair that I brought. He just comes over to me and then sits down on my leg with my food in my lap. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, this is my chair. I want to sit down. I was like, no, this is my chair, and I was already sitting here. You can't sit down. And yo, I have it. It's an omelet inside of this container. Yo, he takes the omelet and eats 3/4 of it in 2 bites.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what are you doing? I want this. He's like, this is for sitting in my chair. I'm like, it's my chair. And yo, he just walks off. I'm like, yo, man, I raised you better than this. What are you doing,
By the
man?
sounds of it, they're gonna start being assholes when you die.
Yeah, right. Holy crap, man.
I love Kendrick.
Yeah, Kendrick's the best, man. But yo, man, I was like, yo, man.
Being assholes.
You're the orders. So I was like, is there a time when they stop?
So I don't know. I'm 4 times in, and they all assholes.
Oh man.
Speaking of, is that one joke? Is your son? Is the joke you talk about your son drawing on the walls? Is that a true story?
And it's a true story.
Walter has a joke about his son. He goes up to his room and his son's got the crayons drawn all over the wall with markers and
I don't
crayons.
still like that too.
Oh man.
Like, yeah, I'd leave
I'm
it
like,
too.
like, why? Like, yeah, good art, son.
Until one day he gets up and he goes, "Man, what are we gonna do about that? That looks like crap."
Yeah,
You did it.
you did it, right?
You fix it.
You clean it. Yeah, exactly. Listen, man, that's a true story, man. True story. I love him to death, though.
No, yeah. I wouldn't change anything about it in the world about it. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, my kids are amazing.
So I'm trying to think. Was there anything on my list that I missed?
Probably.
Well,
We're at 45.
all right. Well, we can wrap this baby up.
Yeah, I guess so.
So we got to, but thank you, Walter, for coming and being a part of our show.
Well, I appreciate it.
And yeah, dude, I feel like this had some good to get to know you better. Now I feel like I know you even more and better than I did before. And probably shocked you that I know about your need for speed. How does he know about he hadn't seen me. I heard you. Dude, I hear you leaving and getting on that highway, and I'm like, oh, there goes Walter.
Yeah, when that highway, so when that tire hit that highway, I'm gone.
Yeah, but yeah, we appreciate you, and I know I think this show's probably not going to be out. I know you guys like next Thursday, you guys are doing the
Best of Casey.
the Best of Casey show at the Comedy Club, but this won't be out. That'll be over by the time you get out for that. But
Yeah.
good luck on that for you guys doing that.
Appreciate it.
And I know you guys will kill it.
Yeah,
So,
That's the plan.
do you have anything else you want to pimp? You want to give your Instagram or your TikTok?
I would like to, man, if you could follow me on all social media, comedian Walter Battle, or just simply Walter Battle. You'll see the big face and smile up there. And please, if you don't mind, if you want to laugh or if you want have questions or even you want to book me for a show or two, add me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. But TikTok is my favorite if you want to get us hold of me quicker.
All right. Keith, you got anything to pimp that's coming up a little bit later that when this comes out?
Sure. I have I'm on this show, an interview comedy show on April 17th. In the Birdcage with Maddie Bird. It's at Farewell, which is a pretty cool punk rock bar, but they pack it out all the time just for the open mic. So I know that the show is gonna be packed out. April 18th, I'm at Lottawanna Brewing for Jolly show down there, an awesome show.
I'll be there.
Oh yeah. April 27th, I'm at X Golf. That's Sarah O'Sullivan's new
Me and you are
show.
both doing that one. Yeah.
Yep. And then April 29th, I'm doing Hillsiders.
And me and you are doing that one too.
Yep.
We're on that both together.
Oh yeah.
So, all right.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, I think this concludes our 4th episode of the Look at the Blind Side.
Yep.
And thank you all for tuning in and watching again. And we will catch you on the blind side.
Peace.